maybe you're standing at the edge of a chapter that no longer fits, no longer is aligned to your heart space. And part of you already knows it. Today, I want to share three messages that I pulled this week that may be surfacing for you through this Sagittarius full moon that is happening for us tomorrow. And actually, we're already feeling the vibes starting 1 to 2 days prior, or even 1 to 2 days after, and see what your soul might be trying to show you right now. This is a live session, so I'm actually also going to be referring to some of my notes here that I have on the screen because I can't memorize everything. But this is what I want to do. I want to dive deeper into this Eight of Cups that I received as the first message here. And this is in reflection. We're reflecting around what you are finally ready to stop carrying. The Eight of Cups is about you walking away from people, circumstances, from situations that feel like they're not no longer aligning to where you are right now or the version that you're expanding into. Remember, this is infinite discovery season where you are expanding into something greater, something that is a little bit more aligned, heading into a direction that feels more maybe purpose oriented. It could be relationship oriented. Maybe you've walked away from relationships, walked away from a career, a job, only to realign to something greater, something that we're going to look into right now. Okay, so this is you kind of outgrowing the energy that you feel is no longer there in some sort of situation. And this at the same time, also, I feel like there's a feeling within you where you're feeling pulled towards a direction, pulled towards a person, maybe towards some sort of a career or a location, an environment where you feel drawn. And with this draw, with this pull, you are meant to walk away from, like I said, circumstances that are no longer aligning you with that direction. So the full moon here that's coming up tomorrow, and like I said, you're already feeling the vibes, maybe helping you notice where you've been staying out of familiarity. I can't believe I just pronounced that word. Um, there's a situation right now where you feel like you're staying in because it feels familiar. But are you actually genuinely aligned to it? Are you actually feeling drawn to staying in that circumstances? For many of us, and maybe you may no longer feel drawn to staying in the circumstance or situation that you're in right now. One of the reflections that I would ask myself in this season is, what have we or you already outgrown that you're still trying to convince yourself it fits? Is the relationship no longer, maybe you're not connecting to a relationship and you're staying in one because it's familiar. Maybe it's a job. Maybe it's a version of you that feels familiar, but you're no longer connecting and believing some sort of framework around an area of your life. And are you ready to let that belief system go or reshift your thinking in a way where now it leads you to what we have here is temperance, that leads you to asking the next question of, what is trying to come back into balance for you right now? What are you trying to balance here? The temperance is what is showing up for you this week, because I feel like with Sagittarius energy, this can sometimes make us think that expansion means um, more goals, more movement, and therefore we resist from making a change because we feel like in order for us to make a move of some sort, there has to be some sort of big moment to inspire us to do that. But sometimes that nudge is very subtle, that nudge is very quiet. And so we have to be able to temper our minds and temper ourselves in a way where we can hear those subtle inspirations or nudges that kind of hint at what is for us, what is next for us. And with that, this is where that space is where we get to explore. We get to explore. And so temperance here reminds us that sometimes expansion comes through integration, not adding more, not collecting more data, but really allowing the different pieces of yourself to work together instead of against each other. Where might your soul be asking for this, for less force and more trust? All right, my friends, the Six of Swords is what follows next. This is about distance. It's also one of the things that I noticed this week that comes up with this energy is what future are you already moving toward? And I love this card. I love this message because it often arrives before we fully realize a transition is happening. So it's not always clear what is there for us until we start making little steps towards those quiet nudges. You may not have all the answers, right? You may not know exactly where you're going, but something inside you already knows, already picking up on the nudge that it's time to leave an old shoreline, an old pattern, an old, outdated, maybe not an old, but outdated thinking. So this is interesting. And I like, well, honestly, also just personally, I've been so tired for the last few days as I feel like my body is also kind of picking up on these shifts. And I also feel that many of you, maybe on the soul level, are picking up a shift that's happening for you in your life, but your body's still adjusting to this change. And so you may feel tired, you may feel restless, you may feel like you're out of some sort of, I don't know, you've shifted timelines or something. And so, one of the lessons I also wanted to share with this reading is that I'm learning now. Actually, one of the lessons I'm learning now is that I feel like movement doesn't always feel exciting, right? Movement doesn't always feel clear. Sometimes it feels quiet, sometimes it feels uncertain, sometimes it feels like choosing peace over what has become familiar. You know, one of the questions I ask myself this week is what if you're farther along than you think? This is the question I want to ask you too. What if you are farther along than you think? So, with the Eight of Cups, Temperance, and the Six of Swords, there's distance. There's you walking away from outdated thinking. But there's also temperance in between where there's a balance. You're walking away because you're harnessing and cultivating more balance in your life. And maybe this full moon isn't here to tell you where you're going next. Maybe it's here to help you recognize what your soul has already been trying to move toward. So, with that, if you'd like to explore what this energy may be revealing in your own life, I'd love to invite you to join us for our next Master Key activation, which is live, I believe next week, or connect with me during one of my upcoming live streams, which is happening tonight. And I think I'm going to probably aim for 9 p.m. Eastern Central. Just click the link in the description. I'll leave all the information there because one card, one conversation, or maybe one reflection can help us see something we've been circling around for a while. So it's worth stopping by and checking out the live activation or the live stream. But until then, I want to wish you best of luck. Stay curious, trust what you're noticing, and see where your soul leads next. Happy traveling as we are all traveling on this journey of unlocking our soul magic. Thank you. Bye.